What else? Newspapers are something that years ago we used to advertise in. We have not had good luck with that. We've abandoned newspapers completely. We just don't do them anymore. The cost is up there on them, and the return on investment is not good for us. So I would not recommend those. Restaurant placements. You ever go into a restaurant and they come in with a sheet of paper and it's kind of set down in front of you and has little businesses listed on it? You'd be amazed at the people that actually look at those because, well, one, they're kind of bored. They're sitting there waiting for their food. They have nothing better to do. They've looked around, they, talked a little bit here and there, but now they're kind of sitting there staring at it, and they will read every placement. I'm guilty, but I do it myself all the time. If there's a service on there that I need, I'm going to take that thing, I'm going to tear that out and take it home with me, or take the whole paper home with me. Okay? It's got my attention. As long as there was a compelling message and it was a need that I had, I could jump on that. They're not that expensive to do. They do work. So it is something that I believe in. Referrals, customer referrals is a huge thing. You'll find customer referrals to be a big thing, but you don't always have to. I mean, people will talk. They'll talk to their neighbors. They do it all the time. You have to talk with them and try to get them to give you referrals. We have programs set up in our company where we reward them for referrals, and we do different things all the time. Like we'll have a competition. Like we set it up now where, okay, let's say I'm gonna put everybody's name in a hat who refers a potential client to our company. And at the end of the year, if we draw your name, you're going to get free mowing for that following year. You're going to get it absolutely free. And that helps. And people see that and they're like, hey, you know what? It doesn't cost me anything to tell Joe Blow, my neighbor, these guys are doing a good job for me. Why wouldn't I want to tell them? So it helps with the referral thing. You just kind of got to edge them along a little bit and help them and let them know they're helping you. They're helping grow your business. And if they like you and you're doing a good job for them, they'd be happy to do it anyway, even without that. Okay, so referrals are an important part of your thing, and just kind of remind your clients about it, every quarter or something, so keep it on their mind, okay? We talked about uniforms, door knocking. The other thing we do, and like I stated earlier, when we come up with a truck and we go in there and we knock on the door and just introduce ourselves, that is valuable. It's important. They may not call you that day, and they may be satisfied with the job that their clients are doing, but they may call you. And another thing that will help you out when you do this, you take the time to go hit those 10 houses right directly next to your property you're working on, maybe instead of a business card, we've taken our business cards and put them right on magnets and give them a magnet. They're less apt to throw that in the garbage than your business card. Business cards get lost. And if they're not interested, they'll pitch it in there. But if they see something of value, they know it costs money to do that. And a lot of times they'll take that card and they'll stick it up on their refrigerator, especially if it has like a calendar on it. Like I'm from Wisconsin, so the Green Bay Packers, big fan. So if you have the Packers schedule on that thing and your little banner across the top, they'll put it on their refrigerator. And then all of a sudden their lawn guy pisses them off. One day, 3 months or 4 months or 6 months down the line, they're going to be like, you know what? I don't know any of these other guys, but I remember that guy that came and talked to me. Now, where did I do with this card? Oh, he gave me that magnet. And you'll get a call. So that does work, okay? The biggest thing for us, the last few years, who's made a tremendous difference in our company in growing, was the internet. There's a lot going on with the internet. If you're not involved with the internet, you need to be. Don't put it off. And don't try and do everything yourself because you're going to fail. I've come to find that when I first started dabbling in the internet, I tried to do everything myself. My wife and I spent hours, countless hours and days and weeks trying to make our own website and do things like that. Whatever was cheaper, trying to do whatever's cheaper. In the end, we got a crappy website. It didn't draw any traffic because we didn't have any SEO behind it. We didn't have anybody that taught us how to build that site so that you get ranked high. Your ranking is huge. It's absolutely huge. Just to give you an example, I've heard a lot of specs on it all over the board. If you Google something, say the top of your page, okay, you have your ads that come in. These are paid ads. They're called pay-per-click ads, and we're going to cover that in a minute. But just beneath that, you'll have your Google Places or your organic section, okay? Now, you want to be up on that section. When you put your site on, when you first put it on the internet, you're going to be on page 17 or 33 or whatever. You're going to be so far gone, no one will ever find you. No one is going to take the time. If you're looking for a lawn care company and you type in lawn care Melbourne, Florida, no one's going to look at past page 1 usually. I've heard stories of 70% of the people, if you're in that top spot, you get 70% of the calls, and then it goes down from there. And I've heard other people say that it's only 40% or 60%. So who knows what it is. But I can tell you this: the higher up that you are, the more calls you get. That I can guarantee you. Now, let's go back to placement. You've got to get on that front page of Google. If you are not on the front page of Google, you are not going to be getting these calls. Even if you're on page 2, you might get an occasional call here and there, but it's nothing compared to what you're going to get when you're on page 1. Can give you a real good example of that. When we started out, like I said, we were on like page 17, and I couldn't get past that until we hired a company to work with us and do some SEO work. So once we did that, we were able to get up to page 1. Now, during the winter months in Florida, when there's really not much going on, it's the off season over there, you're only mowing every other week, there's not a high demand for you. People are not looking for you that much. But we would still average 3 to 5 calls a week that we would get off that. And I thought that was pretty doggone good. Then when you turn around and you hit the prime time, the prime season, okay, so when you hit into your February, March, and April months, that's prime time. That's when everybody is looking for a lawn care guy. Okay, they've all, they put up with their guy through the winter, whatever, but they're getting a new guy in the summer. That's when they're looking for you, is in that spring time. Okay, and that's when you're going to get a ton of calls. Now, I can't predict how many calls you're going to get, but I can tell you, I can remember getting 6-7 calls a day, during this prime time as everything was going on. So there's a lot of things you can do with the internet, but you got to have a good website. It costs money. It's an expense you've got to pay. But like anything, let's go back to Arnold's rug. If you don't want to advertise in the yellow pages, and you want to keep your rug, and you want to stay right where you're at Jim's Lawn Care with a total of 10 clients, and if you're comfortable there and you want to stay there, don't worry about the internet. That's not going to help you. But if you're a guy that wants to grow your business and get your business booming up the line here, you need to get on the internet. You have got to get on the internet. You got to roll with the changes. The changes have all gone to this digital. This all gone to the internet. Everything's computers and smartphones and stuff now. So, and even then, when you have your internet site made, make sure you have a mobile version to go with it. So you'll talk to internet people. They know exactly what they're talking about with this. I've heard a lot of studies on that too that's saying, within the next 2 years, anywhere from 40% to 60% of the people that search the internet will be doing it with their handheld devices, their smartphones and stuff. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's what they predict. I wouldn't doubt it. As fast as things move, I could see how that could happen. So we're making sure that our sites are all optimized, and by optimized meaning that they're prepped to get us up on that page 1, okay? It costs money to do this. Don't skimp. Don't go getting these nickel and dime sites, putting them up there and trying to make them work, because they aren't going to work for you. When Google has their little robots check all these things and place you in the rankings, they're going to know this is a bad site. There's not much content on it. There's not good story. Google's main job and focus is to put the most relevant people in front of you when you click on them. So, for example, let's say I typed in lawn care. If I went on Google and I typed in lawn care and I started getting, I maybe got Jim's Lawn Care and Tim's Lawn Care, and the next thing you know, they're talking about carburetors and boat sales and this and that. Am I going to use Google a lot? No, because it's not working for me. I want options. I want things to come up. So they want sites that are relevant. And the more relevant you are and the more things you have in your site, and there's a lot of different tricks to it, but have good relevant information, the higher you're going to rank. Okay, so there's a lot to that, but I could do a whole show just on that, but I got to move on with this. Okay, pay-per-click. Pay-per-click advertising are, let's say you type in lawn care in Melbourne, Florida. Come up to the top, right on top, you have your ads up here, okay? That's pay-per-click ads. People are paying money to be up there. We do pay-per-click ads. Pay-per-click ads work. You also have them on the side over here, sometimes on the bottom, but they work, okay? You have to be careful with them. You got to manage them just like your website. It's going to cost you money to do all of this. What you do is you set up a budget. Let's say, just hypothetically, I don't know, I mean, if you wanted to set up a budget for $500 a month, okay, they're going to take, we have a company that manages that for us because there's a lot of aspects to it. So you don't want to throw your money away. So you want to make sure you have a good company that knows these things. Take the time, do the research, go on YouTube. They got a ton of videos on this stuff. Learn the things they're talking about. You know, like you don't want your business advertised during late nights so that, you know, people call you, they're at home getting drunk and just for shits and giggles, they click on you. Because every time they click on you, that's why it's called pay-per-click. Every time they click on you, it costs you money. Okay? It's a whole bidding process that goes on through Google, and that's how you get all these things. There's a lot to it. Again, you can do a whole video on that. But I'm telling you that pay-per-clicks work. They work for us. You can tell when they're on, the phone's ringing. When they pull them off, the phone stops ringing. So it goes good, and it goes good with your website. Every time, like your website could be on page 4 and 5, and if your pay-per-click ad comes up, all of a sudden, boom, here you are in the organic section. And the more you're seen on that front page, if you're seen 2-3 times, the more of a chance that you're going to have that you're going to get the call instead of the next guy. Okay, so keep that in mind. Emails are something else you can do. Emails are free. It's a good thing to have. If you can inquire, like all of our clients now, if we try to get emails from every one of them. We do the invoicing through the emails. We, we send them letters and just communications with them all the time, and it's free. It's a lot better than the mailing system, you know, 45 or 44 cents a letter, sending them out in the mailbox all the time and waiting for them to get to Florida and back and forth. And, you know, it's just, if you can get emails, work with it. And how you can use that for advertising and marketing is perfect also because when the season comes around, let's say when it's time when the crabgrass starts growing or dollar weed starts growing down in Florida really good, that's the time you want to send reminders, emails out to your clients and say, hey, by the way, you know, just so you know, we can take care of this problem for you, or, you know, we know people that can do this or whatever, you know, for everything, for fertilizing during those times of the year, you can send them emails. It's free. It's free advertising. You can send it right to your client and you'll get calls back. You know, it just reminds them because they're so busy in their everyday life, they don't take the time to realize everything that's going on in their lawn. Most people don't. But if you're catching it and you send them that, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? I did see that dollar weed back there the other day when I was back there. I'm going to call George up and have him take care of this. That's how you get the calls. So hopefully these are some examples of how to advertise and some of the best ideas that I've come up with for advertising. Hopefully it'll help you out, and feel free to give me a call, send me an email, or go to our video and watch other videos for more helpful hints. All right, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.